EXT. I'm Chris Wienk. Thanks for letting me be your DJ this Friday afternoon. We're live at EXT. Damhnait Doyle has driven all the way down here to visit with us today.
Woo!
Woo! How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm very, very happy to be here, and thank you for the beautiful reception. It was worth the 7-hour drive.
7 hours.
Well, for me, yeah.
That's a long drive.
It was, but it was great. And
thanks
and
for
I
doing
turn
it.
in, and there's a ShopRite right there. My husband is from New Jersey, and we always get this amazing jarred tomato sauce there, so I'm going to go there right after this. It's great. It's worth the drive. Thank you.
Just for that. It's been 11 years since your last solo album?
Yeah, and in fact, that solo album was a record of cover songs. So it's really been about 16 years.
Wow.
So it was a long time coming, this record.
But the album's Liquor Store Flowers that we're talking about. But that's you were not like sitting around
No.
eating bonbons with your feet up.
No, I was checking out Democracy in bands.
Democracy in bands.
Yes.
That needs a story.
Yeah. I was in two bands. I was in a band called Shay in Canada with two girls, and we had a really great run and got to go on the road with Willie Nelson. It was really super fun. And then when that ended, I started a band called The Heartbroken, which is an alt country band. And then about 2 years ago, I was like, I just have to do something of my own voice, of my own singular vision. So I made this record 25 years ago, 25 years after I dreamed it in my head. I was on the road. I started really young. I was 17 years old. I was discovered working in a music distribution company, and it was like, we're going to make you a star. And I had a pop career 25 years ago in Canada. And I had a lot of, radio success very fast. And I got a gig opening up for Steve Earle 2 weeks across Canada. Remember the first night side stage with Steve Earle going, okay, if I'm going to stay in music, that's what I want to do. How do I do that? And it turns out it's 20 years of work and 80 million hours of experience. But I knew I wanted to make this record back then. It just took me this long to do it.
What about this record was it that you wanted to make back then? Because these songs don't sound like somebody who would be 25 years younger than you are today.
No, but I think I knew I wanted to make music that had that depth.
Okay.
And I didn't have the life experiences really at that point to make it. But it just, to me, when I hear this record back, it represents to me all the music that I love. Like Lucinda Williams and Steve Earle and Willie Nelson, and kind of an older, back to basics, songwriting, storytelling. What I am at heart is a storyteller, and I think that this record reflects that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That sounds great. We're live at EXT. Damhnait Doyle's here. So Damhnait, what have you learned about yourself and about yourself as an artist in these last 25 years?
Wow, I guess that it's been a pretty incredible journey. To start so young, you're really looking at the outside world to kind of give you validation. And now, 25 years later, I'm the only person that I'm looking to for validation is myself. And that's a really beautiful thing, to just really let down your guard and let your intuition be your guide. Every single thing, every little thing that I do, everything business-wise now, it has to really agree with my gut. I'm not doing the things where it's like, I don't know if that really feels right, but I'm going to do it anyway. My intuition was always right, saying that those things were a mistake, and now I just listen to my gut, and it brought me here today. So
was that like a eureka moment, or did it just take some time to get to that point?
It was a eureka moment. It was I was definitely a people pleaser in my entire life, and making sure everybody else was comfortable, everybody else was happy. What did everybody else want? And that left me lacking a bit, because I either felt, well, I don't want to be selfish about things, or I want to put other people's first, and then I realized actually that's doing disservice to everybody else around me too if I'm not being clear and concise about who I am and what I want. So it's been a real gift. I say when I turned 40, when women turned 40, people are like, oh, I don't want to turn 40. For me, it was miraculous, actually, because you're really at that stage in your life when you don't care what anybody else thinks about you, and that is such a beautiful gift.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Glad you could find that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. Thank God.
The album is called Liquor Store Flowers. We've got Damhnait Doyle here. Damhnait, you've come down not only to be here today, but you're going to be playing to a full room tomorrow down at Caffe Lena, which is great. It was a free show that you were willing to do for folks, and we really appreciate you doing that. The folks at the cafe are really excited to have you there. Oh,
well, I am so thrilled to be here, and your support really means the world to me. It's fantastic. Thank you.
The record is it's like my favorite record of the year.
Oh,
I just got to tell you.
That's great. Thank you.
And I just want to know, what song do you want to play first, and can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to play this song called Shoot to Miss. And it's inspired by my dad. It's inspired by having children. It's that feeling that you have as a parent of when your child is in harm's way and you feel like there's really nothing you can do about it. So it is told from the perspective of the father. But I was reading American Songwriter magazine about 4 years ago, and there was a line. It was an interview with Willie Nelson and Paul, who was his right hand, Paul from Me and Paul, and talking about one of Willie's daughters with having some issues in her marriage, and he was away, and he sent Paul over there. So I think Paul's quote from the article is like, "I won't shoot to miss," or something like that. So that's kind of where this song came up. It's called Shoot to Miss. Green eyes, just like her mama, bleeding heart, love like sand. Well, you boy, you picked the wrong girl, 'cause you also got this man. And I always had a feeling that you were the hurting kind. Always looked just a little past me, with one thing on your mind. Now I won't go, leave you walking. No, I won't shoot to miss, like every bad thing that ever happened. It all started with a kiss. Well, me, I kept my mouth shut, 'cause young love, it don't stay. And you walked right through my front door, and you never went away. How many times did she tell me, don't you worry, Daddy, he's gonna change? And I know he loves me. When he cries, you should see his face. No, I won't go, leave you walking. No, I won't shoot to miss, like every bad thing that ever happened. It all started with a kiss. And I swore the day that she was born that she'd never see the back of any man's hand. And I fell right to the floor when I saw my baby's face so black and blue. No, I won't go and leave you walking. No, I won't shoot to miss like every bad thing that ever happened. It all started with a kiss. All right, that was Shoot to Miss. And I'm going to do this next song. It's going to be a little bit more aggressive. This song is called So Clean, and it's just, we're living in such a crazy, crazy world these days, and I think it's pretty easy for people to be complacent and just kind of hide their heads in the sand, and because it's easier, because you look on the news and it's just so hard to even look at it. But I just feel like we all have a responsibility to make sure that the good people are winning. It's called So Clean. That's something that Jesus wouldn't do. I don't always feed this crap to you. That's something he never would have said, twisting his words and lining your bed. Why you wanna be so clean when all the good hands are getting dirty? Oh, you think you can't be seen? You're the one who's making the water murky. I can see you, and I do. I can see you, and I do. Oh, I do. You act so pious, you say you're devout, but you don't know what loving's about. You shoot the children and deny him health care. Bullet riddled bodies lying everywhere. Why you wanna be so clean when all the good hands are getting dirty? Oh, you think you can't be seen? You're the one who's making the water murky. I can see you, and I do. I can see you, and I do. Oh, I do. And you sit down to dinner with your family, hold hands and pray for your enemies, but you ain't helping, you're just making it worse. Silence is the hell of a curse. Why you wanna be so clean when all the good hands are getting dirty? Oh, you think you can't be seen? You're the one who's making the water murky. Why you wanna be so clean when all the good hands are getting dirty? Oh, you think you can't be seen? You're the one who's making the water murky. I can see you, and I do. I can see you, and I do. Oh, I do. And it's something that Jesus wouldn't do. It's something that Jesus wouldn't do.
And we're live at EXT with Damhnait Doyle. The song So Clean. Her record is Liquor Store Flowers. Damhnait, thank you so much for doing this. This is great.
Thank you.
Would it be safe to say this may be your most personal album?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, there are songs on here that I can't believe I wrote down, let alone then recorded and put them on an album for other people to hear. And that's like, to be that vulnerable is always the most rewarding thing. Really, it's been very, very rewarding to be truthful and honest.
Is it hard to do as well?
Now, I think it's like hard the first couple of times you do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, being so truthful in these songs coincided with me being very truthful in my life and me starting therapy for the first time. It was just, I would recommend it to everybody and anybody. It's so fantastic. And you just, we're all kind of scrambled up, even if we're living pretty happy lives. Just to kind of get in there and decode yourself a little bit and just have some pathways to make things easier in your life. And for me, as I was saying, I was so stuck in trying to make everybody happy that I wasn't being truthful to myself and to those people because I wasn't being truthful to myself. So it's not hard anymore. It's like the easiest thing in the world now once you practice it a bit.
So making the album was easier than
yes.
than it might have been a couple of years ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure.
In addition to your music and your family,
Mm-hmm.
you're also working behind the scenes in the industry in Canada for artist advocacy,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about what you're doing.
Oh, we're really in this age where people are consuming more music than ever, but it's regarded as being disposable because oftentimes when things are free for people, it doesn't really have the same value to them. And it's the government basically in Canada and in the United States and in Europe dropped the ball when the digital age of music was ushered in. And initially with Napster, they came down and they were like, no, that's illegal. But yet here it just turned around and in fact, people paying $9 a month for whatever music that they want in the world. As a consumer, that's a great deal. But for the artists, you can't just all of a sudden go to restaurants and go, you know what, we've decided all alcohol is free. We don't know who's going to pay for it. It has to be there, but the government has decided, we're going to no longer tax that or have people pay for that. And that's really where musicians are. It's like our music is given away for free. And how do especially younger musicians and older musicians how are those people supposed to pay their rent, pay to go to a dentist? It's really, there's a disconnect between what the public sees and what the music community, the entire ecosystem is suffering through right now. The levels of poverty are staggering. I would never be able to afford to be a musician if I wasn't in a double income family with a super supportive partner, and that just the value of music has kind of been erased. So I'm really hoping that we can change it sooner rather than later, or else people will never pay for music.
Yeah. And what specifically are you doing? And you mostly work in Canada, right?
Yes, in Canada, yeah.
You're on a couple of boards, and
I'm on a bunch of boards, and I would say the names, but it would be what's that?
The alphabet soup.
Yes,
for us, right?
Total alphabet soup. And so I spent a lot of time doing advocacy work, whether that's going to Ottawa, which is our capital, to testify in front of parliamentary committees, people who are also being lobbied by big business to understand really, they want to put a face to a name. It's one thing for a head of a music company, publishers, to go in and go, well, our clients are really suffering. It's like, no, you need someone to be a face for musicians who go like, there are people suffering in poverty who you listen to the radio all day long.
And you hear them.
And you think they're famous and you think they're rich, when in fact they have an infected wisdom tooth and they cannot afford to go see a dentist. So that's kind of what I've been doing in rooms with the government, whether it's industry or whether it's cultural heritage, to even people who should know what the reality is, because you don't know until somebody lays it out. And then people are really quite shocked at how that disconnect is affecting musicians. So I do spend a lot of time with that. And I spend a lot of time promoting gender equality in the music industry. And for the last year and a half, I've spent a lot of time trying to make sure that there are non-alcoholic options for musicians if they go to their workplace, because a lot of time people, oh, you're doing a show, it's fun, and and the mental health of the musicians are suffering because of poverty, and so I've just been doing a lot of work outside of music.
Yeah.
And so I feel lucky that I've had a career in Canada for 25 years. So I kind of feel like it's my responsibility to do that for the people who are coming up after me.
To be a voice.
Yeah.
Live at EXT, Damhnait Doyle's dropped by. Her album is called Liquor Store Flowers, and as those of you who've been listening to my show for a while, I've been calling her song particularly That's What You Get, my new music discovery obsession, because I just can't stop listening to it. Recently you tweeted about consciously deciding not to, you mentioned alcohol, be drinking.
Yes.
You stopped.
Yes, what a great decision for me, personally. And I'm not somebody who's out there saying nobody should drink. It's like, I got these beer tickets because I'm playing. Do you want them? That's it. That's who I am. But for me personally, I just found that I started really young at 17 in this industry, and I'm an absolute introvert with moments of being an extrovert. Like right now, I'm able to play in the radio because I've stored up all of my energy for this moment. So when I began in the industry, I found social events very, very challenging, and the business of after-show, pre-show challenging. So I started having a glass of wine, 2 glasses of wine to make myself comfortable. And then I realized I was using it as a crutch, and I was using it for me to stay in uncomfortable situations that really my intuition, which I had not been listening to till it turned 40, my intuition was saying, get that out of here. But the booze was going, no, you're fine, you're funny, you're taking over, this is great. So it really allows me to listen to my intuition. And in this industry, musicians don't drink like everybody else. We drink before the show, during the show, after the show, day off, when the single's going well, when the single's not going well, it's always it's really built into the culture of what we do. And so I was, for years, especially since I had my kids are almost 6 and almost 7, and you're tired. You cannot drink like a musician and have kids. It just doesn't happen. So I was really consciously trying to cut back and, go to a gig and go, well, I'll only have 1 glass of wine. But that felt like work to me. I felt like actively every night, I'm putting a lot of mental effort into trying to drink less when everybody around me is not, it's challenging. So I just woke up one day and, I'd been doing a lot of research for 20 years on how alcohol affected me personally. And I just woke up and I was like, you know what, I'm done. Today's the day. I'm done with this. And I haven't looked back. And it's just been really great because you only get so much time. You only get so much space to do things. And there's so many things I want to do. And that was just taking up a lot of my time.
Wow. Great.
Yeah.
Great for you.
It's it feels great for me.
Yeah. Live at EXT, Damhnait Doyle. Damhnait, what would you like to finish up with here? A couple songs?
Well, I'm going to play 2 songs, right?
Yep.
Okay. This first song I'm going to play is called Better Life. And I wrote it from the perspective of a birth mother who gives their child up for adoption. So my husband and I, very blessed, we got chosen to be parents for our daughter, our oldest daughter. So she was born. It was incredible. 3.5 months later, I just thought I needed to go back to the gym. But in fact, I was 3.5 months pregnant. It's great. So my kids are 8 months apart. I'm still alive. It feels incredible. But once we had our daughter, people would come, why did her parents give her up? I could never do that. And there was this tone of judgment in their voice that really just, oh my God, it made me so angry. Because I know that it's the most beautiful, selfless gift that anybody could ever give their child, is to make a decision for them to have a better life than maybe they could give them. So it's from that perspective, the birth mother. I just turned 21 when I gave away my son. It's a pain I can't forget to have him ripped right from my chest. In my days I keep trying to outrace, and I had to break the cycle. Didn't want to be the same as my parents were before me. Well, that's just how they were raised. I did the best I could. I did what I thought was right, and I hope that he'll forgive me, wanting to give him a better life. Don't tell me how it is. Don't you tell me how it was. Don't tell me you know how I feel. Don't tell me it's not love, 'cause it's not love. And I don't know what is. Every single birthday, oh, I drink the day away, trying to forget that he was ever made. And I just wanna hold him and take back all those years he didn't call me mother, and I didn't wipe his tears. I did the best I could. I did what I thought was right, and I hope that he'll forgive me, wanting to give him a better life. Tell me how it is. Don't you tell me how it was. Don't tell me you know how I feel. Don't tell me it's not love, 'cause it's not love. I never went to town till all the swelling had gone down, and my soul was wrecked, but my arms were free. I tried to find him, he didn't wanna find me. Well, I did the best I could. I did what I thought was right, and I hope that he'll forgive me, wanting to give him a better life. Don't tell me how it is. Don't you tell me how it was. Don't tell me you know how I feel. Don't tell me it's not love, 'cause it's not love. And I don't know what is. Now I'm going to play your favorite song. Okay, I usually stand up when I sing this song because it's so high, but we'll see what happens. I would have done it. I would have been sober. I would have ripped out my heart, reversed and run it over. Would have been the kindling, would have fanned the fire. Be the one lying to you when everyone says you're a liar. Maybe you were better in my memory, covered my tracks so they couldn't see. Would have been your rifle, would have been your lifeline, would have cleaned up all your wounds and made the stars shine. Maybe See those light gray hairs surround my face. Little fine lines, they get closer, covering every single inch upon my face. You get, and the gift that makes me easy to forget. When you ask for nothing, that's what you get, that's what you get. And the gift that makes me easy to forget.
580 XT, Damhnait Doyle. Damhnait, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful to have you here. This is Exit 97.7 and 106.1 WEXT, listener-supported roots and rock.